Hello and a warm welcome back to the Pitchside Podcast channel. I am your host, the HOD of the BSB. Like, share as usual, comment on this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and tell us about your thoughts on this below. I was your boy, the HOD of the BSB. Of course, I mention again, like, share, comment on the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us on the way to our first K, and follow us on social media. I'm at BSB on Twitter, Pitchside Pod on Instagram, and this is another newsflash. It's breaking news, if you could consider it breaking news. It's a big story that popped up today about the ratification of a new Champions League system soon in April by the UEFA Executive Committee, and this expansion pack, I would call it really, is called the Swiss model, after the model followed in croquet and cricket and these kind of sports. I don't watch a lot of them, so I don't really understand how it's used there, but it's definitely unprecedented in the world of football. So the gist of this new system is, for people who didn't understand, I try to understand it as best as I can, because I'm sure there's still a lot of complications, because it certainly is going to be related to the new UEFA Conference League that's going to be probably starting as well in 2024, when this system is supposedly going to go through. So it is going to be, instead of 32 teams, we're going to have 36 teams. The group stages are going to be scrapped. The normal group stages that we have at the moment, which have 8 groups and 32 teams in it, are going to be scrapped for a 36-1 league, one single league that involves all of those 36. By the way, I can hear you fear, but fear not. Thank goodness, if that goes through, not all the teams are going to be playing each other. We're not going to have another league in the middle of domestic leagues, so that's, I think, a worry that they're going to get rid of. It's going to be, each team is going to face 10 teams based on a seeding system. So that's going to be the fact that they face them like only once. Like, they're going to be facing only once. There's not going to be 2 legs between those two sides. It's going to be only one match for each side against each side seeded against him, and that would mean that the rankings of the league are going to make the first 8 qualified sides are going to go through the knockout system as a round of 16. Then the 9th to 24 sides are going to be playing between them to determine who are going to be the next 8 who are going to be going through to the next round with them. So that's going to be normal system of round of 16, then quarterfinal, then semi-final, and final from the knockout going onwards. But definitely this new group stage system, or this new league stage system of the Champions League, is going to be very, very problematic. The number of matches is going to be increasing. Suddenly, from 125 Champions League matches, we're going to have 225 Champions League matches a season, which would really be, I don't know, you can tell me, but I would see it as catastrophic with the situation that we have at the moment for the pandemic and the season already being congested. Even in normal time, this is a congested fixture for the Champions League and the domestic leagues and the domestic cup, particularly I think in the Premier League. That could be really, really hurtful with the FA Cup and the EFL Cup, the involvement of the Champions League clubs, and this is going to be a detriment to certain competitions like the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. I mean, solutions are aplenty, I think. One is going to be probably get rid of the FA Cup or the EFL Cup. I don't think they would get rid of the FA Cup for its prestige and for its glorious history of 153 years plus. Though I don't think that we'll do that. Maybe they'll get rid of the AFL Cup, which is the more prone to sponsorship one. I mean, its name almost changes like every 5 to 10 years because of sponsorship anyway, so maybe get rid of that. But aside from that, I don't think there's a lot of solutions for the other leagues. But the questions are going to be answered, of course, mostly will be where the next 4 teams are going to be. So we have 32 teams at the moment are going to be seeded and qualifying normally through the league system. The 4 other teams are going to be defined by a so-called wildcard rule. And this wildcard rule is going to grant 4 teams with the biggest UEFA coefficient the entry to the next Champions League edition on the basis of their European success and achievements in the last couple of years or 3 years. It's something similar to the way the African Champions League seeds up its clubs, basically based on their overall achievements in the last couple of years. But that is for seeding, not for the way they qualify to the Champions League, because if that we're gonna find the same teams each year. And that is why I think this system sucks in this particular aspect of it. I mean, it might be better for the bigger teams, and obviously it's going to be better for the bigger teams because it's going to generate more money, more broadcast rights, more big matches are going to be happening. There's going to be the chances of seeing those big match feelings every single season, and you have to be guaranteed there's going to be at least 20 to 25 matches are going to be generating huge income in this one single league system, instead of the normal group stage system that doesn't give you the amount of big matches that you want. You barely get 1 or 2 matches per round in the group stages, so that's going to be increasing the profit of the broadcasters. But from a fan point of view, which is certainly my point of view, I see this system as a catastrophic one. This is going to be a destruction to the European football, certainly something that a lot of teams are not going to be agreeing upon. This is going to, contradict the schedule, not even of the bigger teams only, but also for the smaller teams, because those small teams play cup games against those bigger teams. Those smaller teams play league games against those smaller teams, and if those teams not going to have incentive to play the lesser teams and not going to field their first teamers, you're not going to have the same amount of interest. You're not going to have the same amount of broadcast money coming into those smaller teams, particularly again in the Premier League, where broadcast money is one of the biggest sources of revenue for a lot of clubs, not just in the Premier League, but also in the lower divisions, Championship, League 1 and League 2, and all of that. So this new Champions League system is almost, it's not good. It's almost too good for this current system of European competition we have. And obviously, this is, in my opinion, sort of a cover-up for the European Super League, which Andrea Agnelli, head of the UEFA Executive Committee, by the way, is pushing so hard. So if people are going to be forgetting about the UEFA Super League, this should be a good cover-up. And if anything, if nothing miraculous happens, these new rules and this new system is going to be ratified on the 1st of April. That is on Friday. So, it's going to be ridiculous. It will be a disaster for the world of football, in my opinion, at least for the fans. I don't know about the pockets of the big teams in particular, so that's going to give them a little bit more strength. And, the argument for, in particular, the 4 teams that are going to be qualifying, like the 4 wild card rules, originally, the idea is to give the first spot to the 4th team in France. So that would be 4 teams from France to make them equal with Germany, Spain, Italy, and England in that regard. And also, you have the question of why not more teams from other countries? For example, the champions of Ukraine, Turkey, and Scotland are still have to go through the qualifying playoff system before they get to the group stage. Why you don't give them those top automatic spots for them? And that would generate, broadcasting rights for them. Why you don't give them to teams from, from Poland maybe, from Slovakia, from Czech, those kind of teams that do not get on a regular basis of the Champions League? Why you don't really give them the chance to really show what they can do? I think overall the system is still, needs, a little bit of a sort of, maybe refinement, I would say, but, unless something miraculous happens, it's going to go through, and it's going to take place, and it's going to start being implemented from 2024. So it is going to be, in my opinion, a disaster. It's definitely debate is going to be raging over this, so there's a lot of furious reactions about this and how it's going to affect this schedule, how it's going to affect the players, the broadcast rate, the revenue of a lot of teams. It's going to be debate for days about this, but what I'm sure of is it is going to be a disaster in terms of putting over the big clubs over the smaller clubs, and there's going to be a lot of disparity. Like, if there is disparity now between the poor and the rich clubs, it's going to be even bigger of a gap when this new system starts to be implemented, and that broadcast money is going to pour more into the biggest clubs in Europe. Definitely, this is an opinion I won't change, even if I would like that system for its maybe footballing excitement cut aside. I would really hate it because it's going to smash the smaller clubs and is not going to give a chance for some of the teams that don't get a usual opportunity to go into the Champions League. As I mentioned, the champions of smaller countries should have the right to access the Champions League, should have the right to play in that competition and participate as much as bigger clubs should do. So overall, this system, in my opinion, is going to be do a lot more harm than good for the smaller clubs in particular. It's going to fill the pockets of the big clubs. It's going to satisfy the fantasies of Andrea Agnelli in terms of UEFA Super League, although that might not temper the excitement or the ambitions for that particular project, and that might just tame the talk about the UEFA Super League for a while, but definitely it's going to hurt the smaller clubs and it's going to just fill the pockets of the rich clubs. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers that it won't go through, but I'm sure unless something miraculous happens, it will go through. That's it from me for this sort of news flash, debate, discussion, whatever you can call it, about this new Swiss model for the Champions League. I was your boy, the HOD of the BSP. Like, share, comment what you think of this new system, by the way, of the Champions League, and follow us on social media. I'll be putting links in the description for those who could not wrap their hands around the system to read them and read some reactions as well to see how this Champions League new system is going to be working. Follow us on social media. I'm at SouthPSP on Twitter, PitchSidePod on Instagram, and until next time, I will be seeing you soon. Goodbye.